Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Build Your Copywriting Business podcast. Hey there, Kate.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Here is what we have for you today. We have a reframe, a shift of perspective for you. Before we were getting on this, Kate, you were saying it's a way of kind of taking something that maybe you don't love and showing you how you can view it differently or treat it differently. And it could be something
take it off your list altogether, really.
Take it off your list altogether. Now, here's the thing. We're going to talk about pitching today, and we're going to talk about our proprietary way of pitching. So if you are new to us or new to copywriting or anything along those lines, and you're thinking, ugh, pitching, I've seen pitches. They're bad. They're terrible. They're salesy. They don't work.
We get them.
Exactly. We get them all the time. Mass pitches are cruddy. And yeah, they absolutely are. The way that we do it is totally different, in which is way too long of a topic to get into here. We've talked about another podcast, but suffice it to say, though, that when pitching is done well, the way that we teach our students to do it, it is a direct line to clients. Our students regularly come back to us and say that potential clients have thanked them for reaching out. And that does not happen with your average mass pitches, the way that everybody else is teaching you to do it. So pitching is a direct line to clients. That said, for some people, there are some students we know, some copywriters we know who have learned it from us and they love doing it. They're like, oh, I love going through the pitch process. And there are some students who are like, oh, it's my least favorite part of the building my copywriting business. Like, oh, I love doing the copywriting work. I even love, whatever, but I don't, pitching it just feels like one more step to get me before I get to actually dig in and do the copywriting work. And like I said, there are steps to every people love some things, people don't love other things. We're all different human beings. So what we have for you today is something to think about in terms of, could you eventually get to the point where you don't have to do the pitching yourself?
Yes. And there's the podcast episode.
And that's it. Thanks. Thanks, Kate. That was helpful. Got it. Yeah.
But I think it's like a lot of things. It's starting to evaluate, which is smart it's you're going into, whether you're going into business for yourself as a copywriter and freelancing and contracting, or even if you're going on staff somewhere, to be constantly looking at, checking in, I would say on a quarterly basis, what's going well, what could be better, what do you absolutely just, if I could change one thing about copywriting as a career, here's what I would change. Because great, for a lot of these things, there's probably solutions. There's probably answers versus just, I'm just going to live with it and keep going on because I don't know how to address it, or I don't want to take the time, whatever it is. If you check in with yourself on a quarterly basis and do that, and say, here's what I love, here's what I don't, great. Then that's an opportunity to look at, okay, CCA students, come to the group, come to a coaching call, bring here's my conundrum, here's what I want help solving, then we can solve it. And I think one of the biggest ones we see, and why we're talking about pitching specifically today, is because if that is a pain point for you, great, there's solutions to it.
Let's figure out the solution.
Yes.
Exactly. Now, here's the thing. We are not about to say have AI write your pitches. Don't. It's crap. What's going to come out will be crap. I guarantee it. You can have AI maybe help you refine your pitches with the right
research for it,
potentially do research for it. And spoiler alert, there's something coming up within CCA Plus related to this. However, no, you can't have AI. And also too, we've talked on previous podcasts, I believe, it's certainly within our communities about hiring virtual assistants to help you out with certain things, help you out with creating content, help you out with creating your Instagram content, invoicing, that kind of thing. But pitching is a skill, and it needs to be done by someone with a fair amount of skill. You do not want to be outsourcing your pitching to a $7 an hour overseas VA. That is absolutely not what you want. You want to be hiring someone who has the skill to, heck, you could even be hiring one of your fellow CCA students, someone who is really good at it and really enjoys it. You could be hiring them. And if you're thinking, well, but now, wait a minute, if they're doing the research and they're crafting the pitch, and that's going to be kind of expensive for every pitch that's gone out. Yeah, it is going to be expensive for every pitch that's gone out, which is why you also then have to think of the other side of that and figure out a way to make it work on the other side of that monetarily. Number one, you could look to start building a small copywriting agency wherein you are the head copywriter and you farm out work to other copywriters, and you take a percentage of the income that they make because you helped them find the work. And part of how you did that was because you pay someone to do the pitching for you. Right. So that is one option. There are plenty. Kate and I have worked with small copywriting agencies. There are plenty of copywriters who are more than happy to let you do the work of finding the clients for them in exchange for giving you a percentage of the income that they would have made on that project.
One of the clients I still do a little bit of work with still is part of that, because I also don't like outreach is not my favorite part of the job. And so I keep them as a client because I think it's a fair trade-off. Are my rates as high with them? Nope. But that's a trade-off I'm willing to make because I don't have to go out and find and land the clients with them.
Exactly. Another option is to create copywriting collective where you and maybe a couple of other copywriters split the cost of that person who is putting together the pitches. Now, obviously, if you're like, well, but they're writing a different pitch for each one of us, isn't it still going to be the amount? You may be able to negotiate with the person who's writing the pitch because they are getting more work. You may be able to negotiate a better rate because they are getting pitch work from 3 copywriters or 4 copywriters or something. And remember too, that when you're writing pitches, once you get in the zone of writing the pitches, you're not reinventing. You shouldn't be reinventing the wheel every single time. You have a basic format that you're writing from. You have a list of ideas that you're going to. It should be easy for them to knock out these pitches relatively easily. And if they have a couple of different copywriters that they're working for, they may be able to do it for a slightly lower rate. You may be able to negotiate it because it's going to be faster and easier and smoother for them. They're going to be able to do more faster, and that may be able to get you a better rate if you and a couple of other copywriters go in on it and negotiate it. Does that make sense? Yeah. I'm saying that to you, but really asking everybody who's listening and can't answer.
Write in if you have more questions. As always, write in with questions. But I think the biggest thing to remember, if you go this route, no matter kind of what direction you take, whether it's working with someone one-on-one for yourself or going in kind of a collective, as Nikki mentioned, you want to make sure whoever is writing and crafting these pitches, that this is something that they are an expert in, because you've likely seen them. And if you haven't, there's just a lot of cruddy pitches we referenced at the beginning. You want to either make sure that their system kind of aligns with the way we teach, or you can give these folks, hey, this is how I want you to approach this. Here's what I need you to do for me, and make sure that they're able to align with the pitching system that you've been doing or been taught through the CCA.
Exactly. Well, and I think for that reason, frankly, the easiest person to hire is someone who is already a CCA student and would like to make a little bit of extra cash because they are good at this and they know how to do it well.
And they enjoy it. Yeah.
Exactly. But to Kate's
some people
point,
are really good with the strategy of like looking at a website and being like, bam, that's the thing that should be pitched. Some people just have that skill and can do it really, really fast.
And would even sometimes would rather be doing that if that that's their favorite thing. And to Kate's point, you also, though, you need to be overseeing them, right? You need to be tracking the results that they're getting. You should be at least looking at the first several pitches, making sure, maybe even if you're a CCA student, looking at that pitch and putting it in and making that part of the deal. Be like, all right, you're going to put this pitch into the CCA group to get feedback on it, because I want to make sure that it's the best, because these pitches are going to be reflecting on you, right? These are pitches that you're still going to be coming from your email address, from you as a person. Yes, they're being written for you by someone else, but they're still going to be coming from you. So it needs to reflect very positively on you. You need to set up a system, set up an agreement with this writer to make sure that you have a way out and they also have a way out. If they get started and they don't like this, you don't want to be working with someone who doesn't like it. You're going to get subpar work from them and you're both going to be very unhappy. Same thing if you are working with them and you're like, actually just, I don't know, it makes me uncomfortable. I thought I'd try it, but I don't like it. Or, you know what, I don't like the quality of the pitches, or, whatever. You need to be able to get out of it as well. So it should be an at will, the agreement ends. Also, you need to make sure that it makes sense for you financially, right? You can't be paying somebody $50 a pitch. And I don't think I have not thought through the actual rates, but I don't think that that's a great idea anyway.
Yeah.
You should not be paying someone that's just picking a number out of the top of my head. You should not be paying someone $50 a pitch if it takes 10 pitches to get you one project, right? That's you are
The math
paid.
is not mathing.
Yes, exactly. So you need to make sure that this makes sense for you financially. And there may be that, yes, you want to work with a collective, effectively, of copywriters. Maybe you want to create a small copywriting agency. Maybe you even just want to increase your rates and know that portion, that increase is just going to go to the person who's writing your pitches. Maybe you're charging $65 an hour and you were already thinking, I want to increase my rates to $70 an hour. Okay, well, now from now on, your raise to yourself goes to paying someone to write your pitching. But you also just have to regularly be evaluating. If you are paying someone to do your pitching and it's not landing you clients, then there's no point in paying someone to do that pitching for you.
Yeah, I think if this makes you uncomfortable, I would just recommend putting on the business owner hat for this, thinking through from a new perspective of this is uncomfortable. This is why would I pay someone to do something that I can do? But it falls under, hiring someone to clean your house because can you clean your house? Sure. But someone can probably do it better, faster, for less money than if you put a dollar sign on your time and value. And if you could take that time that you're charging 50, 75, however much you're charging per hour for your copywriting clients, and you could put that time to working for your clients, it's all math. And to some extent, with that math, it gets to be an art form, if you will, an art more than a science, because there is an element of, do I enjoy this? Because doing something at $75 an hour that you enjoy and love is very different than doing something for $75 that's something you loathe and it's a slog. So weigh that into all of this. So again, we're talking pitching, but weigh it with other things that are on your plate. Whether it is hiring someone to clean your house, and you're supporting another small business, great. But I think too often we kind of shut down because we haven't been in the mode of business owner and thinking through possibilities. And you're just exploring it at this point. It doesn't have to be a decision you make. To Nikki's point, you decide to go this route and you experiment with it. You say, nope, that's not for me. That's not working. You've got options.
Yeah, exactly. As Kate and I were talking about this topic before we started recording, we kind of went, I don't know. There's likely that a lot of our listeners are not yet at this point, right? Or especially if you are just getting started, maybe you haven't even joined us in the CCA yet, or you're just starting. We realize that Build Your Copywriting Business is the name of it. We're not saying experts, only for experts in copywriting is not the name of the podcast. That said, though, we want to give you an idea of what your copywriting business can become if it's not yet there, right? If you're not yet at the point where you are ready to explore something like this, we want you to know what you can eventually do. And certainly, I'm sure there are listeners who are ready for this step and who just weren't quite sure how to go about doing this step of outsourcing their pitching. But if you're not there yet, don't stress out about it. We just want to give you some idea of what some of the possibilities can be as you advance your business, as you advance your career. Maybe this is something you're not ready for yet, so you come back to it later, come back to it next year when it makes more sense, or maybe it's just something you want to try out once or twice. But as like Kate was saying, as you start stepping out of this, like, oh, I'm learning copywriting, into I am a copywriter, into I am a business owner, there are some different kinds of opportunities and different kinds of decisions and different kinds of ways to build your career and structure your career and, frankly, your life that can only enhance the freedom and enhance the flexibility and, frankly, too, enhance the financial benefits of being a copywriter.
Yeah. And I think keeping in mind why you're doing this, if it's to have more time, for example, with friends and family, great. Does outsourcing this buy your time back in a lot of ways of, okay, I'm going to outsource my pitching, and now I have those 5 hours I was spending on Fridays back in my day to just maybe not do work, or I'm going to take on more work, or whatever it looks like for you. So I think keeping your goals in mind of why you're doing this and what are the things that you can bring into your business that help you support and meet your goals. And so when it comes to pitching too, I think one way to get creative with this, does it have to be someone's doing all your pitching? Maybe for me, I'm thinking like probably 90%, which might be a little high, of my pitching is just repitching clients that I already work with new ideas. And that's how the relationship keeps on going and why I don't need new clients all the time. And so if you're established and you're thinking, this is interesting, maybe you bring someone on and you just want to have kind of pitches out in the world to have options for letting go of a client, or maybe you have room on your roster for one new client and you don't need a ton. So that can be something too, where it doesn't have to be all or nothing, where it's you keep the repitching on your plate because you already, that's easy. To me, it's very easy. You're in the business, you see ideas all the time, versus kind of reaching out to new prospective clients. So start to get creative with how you're looking at it, with what else is possible. I think we don't know what we don't know, and this is one of those things until like, I didn't think of that. So running your business, think about what you want to keep in that business and what you just would like to let go of, because it's probably ways for you to do that.
Exactly. So a little bit of a mind opener episode for you. And with that, we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye, everybody.
Like what you heard? Hit subscribe so you never miss a video. And if you're ready to take the first step toward becoming a copywriter yourself, sign up for a free video training right here.